So, welcome back to class. The next phase is for us to talk about the remaining theories. So, I stopped in the last video, I stopped in identity versus role confusion, which is usually around the ages of 12 to 18 years old. And children in this time, teens explore personal identity and a sense of self. So there is this part of this that I didn't talk about where teenagers exhibit willfulness. Let's try our best to please be patient with them. I know that it's a stage where we need to curb as many curvables, but it's also a stage where we need to be patient, kind, and teach them not to be rude, because in that time they are asking questions. They are driven with identity confusion. So when your child comes up and says he wants to wear a kind of clothes, just know that it's identity confusion. They are struggling with identity crisis, and that's basically what they are doing. So we then move on to the next stage, which is the stage of 18 to 40 years. This is intimacy versus isolation. Young adults in this stage, they form intimate, loving relationship with others. This is the time where you look for that one person that will now be your soulmate. That one person that will now be your soulmate. That is the time, the exact time that you're finding this person. Then, however you treated your love life in this time is what will determine the next stage of life. Because the only basic virtue that we're talking about here is just love. It's just what? Love. So however you treat whoever that you're in love with, the relationship, if you get married or if you not get married, will determine the next stage. So what exactly is this next stage? The next stage is where we call I'm sorry. So I said intimacy versus isolation. So you have two things. However you came from your identity crisis stage, you either become intimate or you become isolated. Your identity crisis will happen to you and you lose your self-worth. And you lose your self-worth, you lose relationship, you can't manage your relationship, and so you become isolated. So, dear everyone, I tell this a lot whenever I'm telling. See, when we're raising children, let's know that we are waiting for the future is not far. It's not far. It just looks far. I kid you not. The future is not far. It just looks far. Everything that we're doing to the child that is 2 years old, that is 3 years old, that is 4 years old, that is a teenager, you beat and battered, you drove into craziness, a teenager, and this teenager become an adult that is asking, either going into a relationship because they are desperately in need of a coverage, where they just needed someone to accept them. See, the trauma that we give to these children when they are little comes back to becoming the kind of adults they will become. So this child becomes a bad wife, becomes a bad husband. These things comes from childhood. So dear educators, if you think that your job is just to teach and write, no, that's not so correct. Your job goes beyond teaching and writing. Your job actually goes into you being able to connect with the teachers and with the children and think about them like the future. You're seeing their future already. Let's move on. So, what changed? So, let's move on. So, I have here also, I have the next stage, which is the generativity versus stagnation. Now, these adults either create or nurture things that outlast them by contributing to the society. So let's go back to class. So we have generativity versus stagnation. This time the child creates or nurture relationship or things. If I am a confident teenager, I'll become a confident adult. If I become a confident adult, I make impacts in my world. If you study the Maslow hierarchy of needs, you will understand that at some point, when you have met your physiological needs, clothes, food, and shelter, you want to start having purpose. It's not just about food anymore, it's about you. It's about how the world knows you, how the world perceives you, how the world connects with you. That's the next stage that you are now. And that brings us to what will happen here. So an adult that wants to create or nurture things that will outlast them, thereby contributing to their society. This adult is a genuine adult. Is someone that loves, is someone that impacts others, is someone that cares about others. It's a fantastic person. But then there is another adult that is now stagnant. See, life, I said before, I said, the future is not far. Look around you. Look around you and tell me the man that could not manage his marriage well, or the woman that could not manage their marriage well, or the one that came from a place of identity confusion and so more, or the one that struggled with inferiority complex, or the one that has been suffering from guilt, autonomy, shame versus guilt, or the one that has struggled with mistrust. Just go through those psychosocial conflicts. You will see that there is an atom of whatever they have gone through that affects their life such that they will become stagnant. How do I struggle with inferiority complex and I'm able to make impact in my world? It's crazy. It's not something that is easy. But these people, they will struggle with it, and when they come to adulthood, they will now become stagnated. They'll become stagnated. They'll be suffering from their inability to get care. They can't contribute to the society. They can't contribute because, of course, they've spoiled relationship. They've struggled so much, they can't maintain relationship. They can't even impact others. They've been so isolated. But the other child that was boosted, whose ego was boosted, whose confidence was boosted, the child go to the world, conquer the world, create things, nurture things that outlast them, write their name in the sands of time. But the other child that was beaten, battered, will probably have to work himself out of that situation before they can actually build something that outlasts them. They will now go to the final stage, which is ego integrity versus despair. This usually happens. So the previous stage happens between the ages of 40 to 65 years. Then this next stage happens between the ages of 65 years to forever. So when you find an old man, an old woman that sits at the corridor of their house and thinks deeply about the things they could not achieve in their life, ask about how they grew up. Oh, we've had situations where people had their life calculated and situation happens, something happens to them and they lost everything. We can understand. It could bring about despair, really. But here they said the basic virtue here is wisdom. Because seniors, because they are not senior citizens, they reflect on their life and either feel a sense of fulfillment or a sense of guilt. No wonder people say that the best place to actually find stars is usually in the graveyard. People that did not fulfill their destiny, they just died like that. So when you see people saying that I want to die empty, that means that every boxes that I have determined that God has enabled me to tick, I must tick that boxes and I will go empty. There won't be a part of me that I did not do at the time I will be going. And it begins from how you're helping the other child too. Think about this child. Who is nurturing who? This adult here is asking questions. Who? What could I have done better? That's the time that old man wants to reconcile with his family. That's the time that old woman wants to reconcile with his children. That's the time that brother and sister is asking question. Can I have these people that care about me, can I have them around? What is Erik Erikson saying? He's saying that this theory of psychosocial development happens from birth. And if we can nurture children from birth, we can raise an awesome adult. That means it depends on us. The kind of future we want to have, it depends on us. I leave you with this. Teach, nurture, create an enabling environment for that child to thrive so that that child can grow through their stages of life and they will not regret a single time. I do not regret how I grew up, even though I have some traumatic childhood experiences, but I thank God for the people that saw light in me and lit the light and tell me you can do it. I appreciate all of you, and I know that you're seeing this video, and I want to tell every teachers on my watch, do the same for that child, because you never can tell the light that you're lighting today. So be the best of you. I will see you tomorrow in the next video. Watch part 1, part 2, and part 3. I'm Coach Bukola of Educrest. I love you all. Subscribe to our channel so that you can see more videos. Please subscribe.